Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I want to talk about what camera system is the best to get into if you're new or if you're looking to change camera systems. So this is going to be totally my opinion, of course. Who else would it be? Because I'm the only one talking. So it's totally my opinion, but let's get started. First, I will start with Nikon. I'm only going to go over the major camera manufacturers, not often to some of the smaller ones, but the major ones. So I'll start with Nikon. Nikon, on the positive side, I think they would probably be the best system for wildlife. They have a great selection of primes that are like 400, 600, and so on. And they also have really good lenses. They've always been known for good lenses. The one thing I have a problem with Nikon on, and this goes back many years, back when we had our 1 hour photo lab in the late 80s, we took in cameras for repair and we would send them off. I didn't repair them, we just took them in and sent them to a camera repair place and brought them back and we made a commission. But Nikon, we probably got 3-to-1 Nikon over Canon, and I probably saw more Nikons go out for repair than any of the other camera brands. And I know some guys today that use Nikon that are constantly having issues with their camera. Now, I'm not saying every Nikon is bad and gonna break. I'm just telling you what I've experienced. You may love Nikon, and that's completely fine if you do. That's a great camera. In fact, at the end of this, I'm gonna sum all this up into a quick ending for everybody. So I think you'll like it if you hang around. There's a few things personally, as far as when I'm using Nikon, I don't like where they got the on-off button. Most of the times when I'm using a Nikon camera, it's up there by the shutter release button, and it's just too close. I'm like, you know, smile, and I turn the camera off. So I'm like, why do they put it right up there by the shutter release? But anyway, that's just me. I'm not a huge fan of Nikon personally, but I know people that love Nikon and swear by them, and if that's you, that's completely fine. I hope you love it, and I hope it never breaks on you, and they are a great system. I mean, the quality of their lenses is fantastic, and they do make a lot of cameras. They're well-known camera manufacturers. So now I'll jump into Fuji. The thing about Fuji is they make APS-C and they make medium format. They don't really go into the full frame market, which I find a little bit odd, and I think Fuji has some focusing issues a lot lately, some updates I've heard that have caused some focusing issues. Now, when you talk about Fuji, I know more about Fuji from the Fuji film and Fuji paper, because again, when we had our 1 hour lab back in the 80s, that's what we used was Fuji paper and Fuji film. That's what we sold. We didn't sell Kodak. It was all Fuji. There was a short time that we used some Konica paper, but it was mostly all the time Fuji film, Fuji paper. So I know they're a great company, and I can't really speak a lot about their cameras because I haven't used them a lot personally. I can just go by what other people have said. And the fact that they do make APS-C and medium format just kind of strikes me. I would think they would want to make some medium format in there too, unless they just think that market is too flooded, because the medium format market is definitely not flooded. So they definitely have that one, them and a few others. Fuji, I don't have a huge opinion on. I do think the film sims that they have in some of their cameras, that sounds very cool. I haven't tried it myself, but I would love to try out the film sims that they have. So I'm going to get a hold of a Fuji one day, and we're going to experiment and see how good that looks. So I don't have a huge opinion on Fuji other than what I know. They make APS-C and medium format. They still make film, so we'll give them that, hanging in there. To still make film, that's pretty good after all these years. So now we come to Olympus. They make a lot of micro four thirds cameras, and one thing about Olympus is they are known for their stabilization. Again, I don't know a ton about Olympus. I've got some Olympus lenses that I put on my Lumix cameras, but I don't think I've exclusively used an Olympus camera. The last time I exclusively used an Olympus camera was our first digital camera. I think it was a 5 megapixel camera. We bought it at Showcase in Atlanta. They're no longer around, but it was, I don't even remember what the name of it was. It was an Olympus. It was 5 megapixels. I had the lens built in. It was the first digital camera that we used when we stopped using medium format. Well, we didn't actually stop. We shot weddings. We would, the first part of the weddings up till cutting of the cake, we would shoot medium format. After that, we would come over to the digital for a long time, because the Olympus digital back then, I think most other digital cameras just had such a hard time getting the whites and the dresses right and balancing all the other colors too. So, hey guys, I just want to take this second of your time. If you guys would please hit like and subscribe, it would go a long ways toward helping our channel and help us keep making these videos. Thank you. I want to try Fuji. I want to try it out. I want to try the film sim. So I'm going to leave it at that. I know Fuji's a good company, but that's about it as far as my knowledge on Fuji. Now Sony, this is a very popular company, and I have not used a lot of Sony, but I have read a lot. I have used the A7 III a few times. It wasn't mine, but I have used it a few times. It's a great camera. I think some of their color balance is a little bit not up to par with some of the other cameras such as Canon and Nikon. But now one thing Sony does have is focusing. Sony has the focusing down. As far as I understand, Sony is probably the best at focusing. I think Canon probably gives them a close run, maybe in second place, but I think Sony probably takes the trophy for the best focusing. They're also kind of the new hip camera, in my opinion. That's just what I've seen and heard. I consider them the new hip camera, Sony. I have heard a few people complain about reliability issues, but I don't have anything really to base that on other than what I've heard other people say. So I won't delve into that too far because I can't really speak on it. I do know Sony is a little bit pricey. Most of your high-end cameras are going to be pricey though, so you can't really complain about that. They're probably in about the ballpark with most of the other full-frame manufacturers. They're all pretty close together as far as price. But I think Sony is a fantastic company. I think they make some great cameras, but as far as the color goes, I think you can fix that pretty simply in post-processing, so I wouldn't see that as a big issue. Now we'll come to Canon. This is the brand that I use, so I'll try not to be biased toward Canon, but like I was talking earlier about in the late 80s, the repairs that we did, we had a lot more Nikons than we did Canons. Canon has been very reliable. I've used Canon for 40 years plus, and I can't recall us ever having a camera break. I know we had a lens go down one time and a flash go down one time, but I don't remember any cameras breaking on us, and we've been through a lot of Canon cameras. That says a lot in over 40 years not to have a camera break. Now, here's the deal. Everything will break. I don't care what brand it is, who makes it, if it's made by hand or whatever, it will eventually break. But just speaking in general terms, Canon to me has always been very reliable, and I can say that firsthand because I've used them. I think they have the best color science. I think they are probably number 2 in focusing behind Sony. They have very good focusing. Occasionally my R6 will lose or not pick up an eye. I'll have to turn it on, turn it back off, but overall it does a fine job. So it's not that Canon is terrible at focusing. I think they're probably number 2 behind Sony. So now one of the downfalls to Canon is their new RF glass. It's either really budget or really high end. By high end, I mean some of the lenses, a lot of the nice lenses like your 24 to 72/8 and your 28 to 70 f2, those are $2,000 to $3,000 lenses each. That's a lot of money for people that are just getting started to invest in one single lens. So you can use an EF to RF adapter and put the EF lenses on there and you'll be fine. But they're really making those RF lenses expensive. I think the 24 to 105 f2.8, I think it's around $3,000 also, and they're very heavy. So expensive and heavy, so there you go. And Canon did have issues at first with like the R6 and different ones that were overheating during video. I've done the upgrades and I haven't had any problems with overheating. I've had it on the beach video and I've not had any issues. So I think most of those issues are fixed. I can't speak for all the cameras that are out there, but I know that mine hasn't overheated since I've done the update, so I haven't had any issues with that. Now, as far as market share goes, I believe Canon is bigger than Nikon, Sony, and Lumix, and all them combined. Not that that matters. You can be the biggest and not be the best, but whatever. And another camera system, Lumix. Panasonic makes Lumix. They make Micro Four Thirds. I wouldn't say that their cameras are for everybody. Now, I had the G100, didn't care much for it. Had the G85, it was pretty cool. And now I've got the G9, it's the Mark I. I love the G9. Now, it is a quirky little camera. So if I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner, like it, and it's very good at photography and very good at video. It doesn't do so well under low light, but in most situations, it's a very good camera. Like I said, it can be a bit quirky to use. The menu I like the menu system pretty good, but I can see it be a little confusing for some people. But I do like the Lumix Panasonic cameras. I'm glad they finally changed the focusing system in them, because that was their biggest issue for a long time, was their focusing was just terrible. As far as video, if you set it down, like if I was recording with one right now, and it was recording me, that a lot of times it would be pulsing in and out, or it might just lose focus on me completely. But now they've changed all that in the new G9 II and the G87, I believe it is. So, but I do like Lumix. I use them. I use all Canon except for when I'm using Lumix. And Lumix I use a lot for video, but I've got used to the quirks, and like right now, I'm videoing on a Lumix G9, and I don't think it's going to be pulsing in and out a whole lot. But that's because I'm kind of used to the quirks and know how to work my way around them. So if you're willing to do that, it's a great camera system, and you can get lenses and stuff a lot cheaper than some of the other manufacturers. So anyway, with that said, here's the bottom line with what system should you choose. There is really no camera system you can buy right now that I would say is a bad choice. Every camera manufacturer out there makes cameras amazing. They're all fantastic. Now we can nitpick about Nikon, we can nitpick about Lumix and Canon and so on, but when it comes down to bottom line, any camera manufacturer that you want to buy into is going to be fantastic. The technology has moved forward in such a tremendous way. I've been shooting for over 40 years, and the changes I've seen are just unbelievable. It's so much easier now. It's so much more convenient. There's not really a bad system you can buy into. So if you're looking to get into a camera system, if you're new and you're looking at getting into as cheap as possible, look at used, or look into the Lumix or the Olympus, either one of those, or Micro Four Thirds. If you're going to be doing a lot of weddings, you might want to look into a used Nikon or a used Canon, like the Canon 6D, or maybe a used Canon R6. It just depends. But like I said, any system that you want to get into now, you're going to be absolutely fine. There's no major flaws with any of the camera manufacturers. You really can't go bad. So with that said, I had some notes, so we'll throw those away because all camera systems are good nowadays. You really can't buy a bad one. So anyway, with that said, I just wanted to clear up or make, or maybe make it a little foggier situation. I don't know what I did, but anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys this, that really, it don't matter. Get the system that you like, what you're comfortable with, what you can afford. You'll be completely fine. For helping you guys out, give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Hey guys, I just want to take this second of your time. If you guys would please hit like and subscribe, it would go a long ways toward helping our channel and help us keep making these videos. Thank you.